Hello everyone, today you are in the third episode of Greek Philosophy with Lijashri Hazarika, and in this video I will take you through Heraclitus, the Atomic School, and also Empedocles. So let's get started with our lessons. So first I will start with Heraclitus. So Heraclitus runs parallel to Eleatics. We know what is Eleatic school, what they were talking about. We know about Parmenides. So Heraclitus was in immediate parallel with Parmenides. His theory is basically believed to be the theory of change. He gained the nickname as dark, obscure. He gained such kind of nicknames. It is believed that his philosophical principle was in direct parallel to Eleaticism. So we already know what Eleaticism is, right? Eleaticism is a school of thought which believes that being is and there is no motion which is possible. Eleaticism is a theory, or you can say a theory that belongs to the Eleatic school of thought, which says that there is being only, that being is, and motion is not possible, which we already discussed in the second episode. As we have already seen that in Eleatic school, that being is only real, and becoming is not. So it is not real. Becoming never exists. Motion is not possible. Now what Heraclitus is doing? He is arguing against Parmenides. He is arguing against the theory of being. So his theory is mostly about the theory of becoming. That is why his theory is believed to be the direct antithesis of Eleaticism. For Heraclitus, being, identity, permanence or permanent things never exist. Everything is illusionary. This is because he believes that things are always changing, they are passing away, it begins and it passes away, things are always changing, there is nothing like absolute permanence in this world. He believes that all things are perpetually changing, passing over time into new forms and new shapes. So nothing remains permanent for him. Nothing remains at what it is. One of the most important quote that I would like to read from him is that he says that into the same river we go down and we do not go down, for into the same river we cannot step twice. He denies absolute permanence and relative things. Everything is for him illusionary, or you can say everything is in the process of change. Everything is momentary. He also is known for his theory of momentariness, but though he should not be clubbed with Buddhism, but later even in Buddhism you will get to study, when my friend will discuss about it, you will understand what this theory of momentariness is. So you can club this, his theory of flux and a theory of momentariness, because later thinkers, later scholars have studied about this. So you will get to know. He writes that all is flux. So what this flux means? This flux means every time everything is just flowing. It means the action or the process of flowing and flowing out. He says that it is not the same sun that rises tomorrow, and the fire burns itself out and is replenished from the vapors of the sea. He believes in at oneness of is and is not. He believes in both, but not that is and that is not is. He just believes that both are real. And this is because he believes that even in one and the same moment, there is and is not. That is, even in the same moment, in every moment, there is being and there is not being. Or in logical sense, you can say that for him, in T1, there is P and not P. For Heraclitus, being and non-being, both are absolutely real. He believes that one is as true as the other, like being is as true as the not-being, because both forms are equally identical. And he writes that becoming is the identity between being and not being, and becoming has two forms, arising and passing away, their beginning or their end, their origination and their decease. He believes that origination is the passage from not being into being. But when he says that being is and being is also not, he does not mean that being is now and later after some point being is not being. For him, not being and being both are at the same time possible. So you cannot divide the moments, that in T1 it is being and in T2 it is not being. For Heraclitus, the presence of P and not P in T1 is not that being is at a moment and at the next moment it is not being. It simply means that being and not being are present in the same time. Being has not being already included in it. He believes in the possibility of opposites. He believes in a union of these opposites. He believes that everything in this world has an opposite to it. Like life, there is death. Like dark, there is light. And therefore he says that everything in the universe has an harmony of these opposite tensions. He believes that at the heart of all things is conflict. That there everything, even if there is freedom, even if there is everything, but there has to be conflict. It is the very possible thing that is in this world. And that is why things arise and passes away. If there would not be conflict, then the world will cease to be. And keep in mind that he says strife is the father of all things. So some of the key points that you should keep in mind from Heraclitus' philosophy is that for him, fire is the ultimate stuff from which the world is made. His theory is against Parmenides, as he believes in the theory of change. He says that all things is in flux. He believes that transformation of matter is the only reality, that everything changes, everything is in process of becoming. This is only the very truth of reality. And he adds that there are two forms of transformation, upward path and downward path. And the upward path follows the transmutation of earth into water, water into air, and air into fire. And in the downward path, fire transmutes into air, air into water, and water into earth. He identifies fire with life and reason. He believes that fire is the rational element in things. He says that the more fire there is more movement, and that is why there is more life. He believes that the soul is a reality. Okay, and now we have Empedocles. We do not study him along with the atomists, but it is believed that his ideas are later influential to the atomist school. So he is studied separate from the atomists because he is believed to have some traces from Eleatic school. So that is why he is not accommodated under atomist school. You will get to know when I discuss about why he is not being included in the atomist part. His philosophy is believed to have an Eleatic character. Eleatic character means the influences from Eleatic school. So till now what we have done, from Thales to Heraclitus, we have studied that there are many principles, conflicting principles that are being developed in their theories, like water, air, indefinite matter, fire, etc. to be the first principle. So what Empedocles does? Empedocles tries to reconcile all these principles, this conflicting principle, to a new system. So what Empedocles did is, he combined Parmenides' first principle, that is, being is unmoved, uncreated, indestructible, with Heraclitus' principle, that is becoming, everything is changeable, everything is in the process of becoming, and that change cannot be denied. So he combined both these principles into one. And he said that objects do exist and they do change away, but the material particles from which the object is made, the different components from which the object is made, remains. That what remains is indestructible and unchangeable. And so this thought was taken up by atomists later, and we will study that. There is one kind of matter that cannot change. So Empedocles, like Parmenides, believed that there is one kind of matter that is unchangeable, that cannot be changed into other matters. Like air cannot change into fire, fire cannot change into water. And the root of all this is the basic elements. So elements for him is the basic root from which the things arise. And these elements are out of which the matter is created. So he believed in four main elements. They are earth, water, air, fire. So he believed that all other kinds of matters are just mixing and unmixing of these four elements, main elements. And he believed that for matter there is no moving force. Matter for him is dead. Unlike Thales, who believed that matter is the life. But for him, matter is dead and lifeless. Like Heraclitus believed in many opposites in the world, that there are a union of opposites. In this world there are many opposites and everything is just a union of opposites. Even Pythagoras was seen to believe that there are 10 opposites. Now, Empedocles believed that they are just two opposites. They are love or hate, harmony or discord. And everything in this world is just these two forms. He taught the doctrine of periodic cycle. He believed that the world process is cyclic and there is no beginning nor end. He believed in the transmigration of soul. The soul can transmigrate from one to another. He put an interesting theory of sense perception. That is, like perceive like. That is, fire in us perceives the external world of fire, and so on. So now we have reached the third section of this video where we will be discussing about the atomist school. So unlike the Ionians and Eleatic school, atomist school had only two thinkers. They were Leucippus and Democritus. So Leucippus was believed to be the founder of atomic school. Since we cannot put Empedocles in the atomic school, so there were only two thinkers. So like I have explained why Eleatic school is called Eleatics or why Ionians were called Ionians. Now you might wonder why atomist school were called atomists. Why the thinkers of atomist school were called atomists? They were called atomists because they believe in the theory of particles and they gave importance to atoms, and that is why they were called atomists. So what did the atomists do? They built their theory upon Empedocles' theory of particles, or say elements, that four elements. So these atomists, they developed their theory based upon those elements. So these thinkers, Leucippus and Democritus, believed that atoms are the only reality in this world. Atoms are the only constituents of matter in this world. These atoms are infinite in number and they are so minuscule and there are so many that it is imperceptible to the senses. Like Empedocles believed that there are four kinds of elements, these thinkers believe that there is only one kind of atom. This matter cannot be reducible to other. They believe that atoms are entirely non-qualitative and they might differ only in quantity. They also thought that though they may differ in shapes and sizes, but they also believe that this is only due to the arrangement that is in the world and the positioning of the atoms. That is why they appear to be different in shape and size. They believe that atoms possess no quality. Atom and void are called by them as plenum and vacuum. So Democritus gave us scientific knowledge to mechanism and materialism. They believed that atoms are the ultimate reality from which the world has arisen. They also said that soul is nothing but the aggregate of atoms. And they said that all these atoms has a common character. The soul consists of those atoms which has the essence of fire. Democritus said that atoms are not like human beings. They are eternal and indestructible. Democritus also distinguishes between perception and thought. Perception for him is the knowledge of becoming and thought for him is the knowledge of being. So these were the two atomists. Now we have Anaxagoras. He is believed to be the last thinker from the pre-Socratic school. So he took up from where atomists have left. He built upon the theory of a moving force in those atoms. Anaxagoras established a teleological view of the universe with the help of those atoms. The philosophy of Anaxagoras is same as that of Empedocles and the atomist, as he denied absolute becoming in the strictest sense of passing of being into not being and not being into being. For him, matter is uncreated and indestructible, and all becoming must be accounted by mixing and non-mixing of its component parts. So Anaxagoras considered a kind of moving force in those atoms. So Anaxagoras considered a kind of moving force in relation to the theory of atoms. For Anaxagoras, that moving force is called as nous. And that nous is believed to be mind or intelligence. This nous is non-material and physical incorporeal. So mind is for him nous, and this nous is the moving force which puts a relation of motion in those atoms, but it itself is not movable because that which causes motion cannot itself move. So he wrote that nous is absolutely pure and unmixed with anything. So he put a theory of nous into that theory of atoms, which is the moving force. So here, that is it for today. This is the end of this video. Today we have discussed many actually, from Heraclitus, then we have Empedocles, then the Atomies and Anaxagoras. I hope these concepts are clear to you, and if you all have any doubt, please do let me know in the comment section below, or you can also mail us in the mail ID given below. So yeah, stay with us. Me and my friend, we are also thinking of publishing a video related to the previous year question papers, and we are also thinking to discuss the pattern of the exam. So yeah, stay with us and do like us. Thank you for listening to me, and if you feel our video should reach a larger audience, please do share them. Okay then, thank you. We'll meet up in the next video, that is with Sophist and Socrates.